here with Division 1 and Division 2, and we're going to take a look around this superb circuit on board the superb Mitsubishi Charisma of Ivan Opel. Well, that's what it looks like from the driver's seat, and one man who knows that driver's seat very well is Martin Schanche. He hasn't been competing in the first two events, and so the crowd are pretty excited to see him out here in his new car. It's a brand new Astra.
Ja, wir haben ja Einfahrprobleme wie die meisten Leute, ne? Ein neues Auto. Jetzt waren die ersten Runden, die fehlerfrei waren, und da waren wir sofort zwischen die 5 schnellsten. Muss ein bisschen gemacht werden, und der Alter hat auch viel Rost, über den Winter nur hart geschuftet und gearbeitet wie eine Ameise. Also, aber ich bin happy mit dem Auto, ich fühle, das Potenzial ist da, das liegt wie ein Brett, es liegt nur am Fahrer jetzt, man muss sich einschießen auf dem Auto.
Können Sie uns deine Palmares etwas sagen?
Oh, wie lange Zeit haben wir? Ich habe etwa 72 Siege, Gott weiß wie viele zweite Plätze, 6-mal Europameister, holländische Meister, norwegisch auch viel, Eisrennen, norwegische Meister. Ich habe sehr viel dann in der Weltmeisterschaft vom Sportwagenprototypen gefahren, ich habe Le Mans mitgemacht. Das war also, in meinem Leben habe ich viele Sachen gemacht, und jetzt, wo es an die Nachmittagszeit geht, dann habe ich einen Jugendtraum gemacht, habe einen Hubschrauber gekauft und flitze jetzt durch die Luft auch.
Na, zurück nach Rallycross, warum eine Opel Astra?
Oh, ich habe ja das Auto sehr genau auf die Szene gucken können. Zum Beispiel die Zelle. Das ist zwar sicherlich gut für der allgemeine Straße, dass die sehr steif ist. Aber für uns ist es sehr wichtig, weil ich kann das Radaufhängung nicht einstellen, wenn das Karosse weich ist. Das ist ein sehr, sehr modernes, starkes Auto. Und ich freue mich darauf, dass wir auf die schnellen Strecken, wo es viel Asphalt gibt, da werden die Jungs staunen.
Well, it all looks very peaceful here behind the scenes, doesn't it? But little do you know, Hansen has got a big problem, and he's only got a few minutes before the heat and having to change the gearbox and do all sorts of last-minute repairs. So no time for interviews, they're just getting stuck in with the spanners and the socket sets. And it's extraordinary with all the planning that goes into these events, how things like this can happen right at the last minute, with Kenneth actually getting his hands dirty too. He doesn't just drive it, he helps to fix it.
Okay. Fast now. Okay. Und da. Okay.
Well, as you can see, it's a tough one, and Kenneth Hansen's wife, who we see here, has been out having a chat with the officials, trying to get a bit more time before the start so that he can compete.
You look more excited than Kenneth.
It's quite nervous. We hope we can be in time for the second heat.
You think they're gonna make it?
It will depend on minutes, 1 or 2, because it's more broken than we expected. So they are working very, very hard.
So the whole family is working now?
Yes, it's a family business.
Well, living proof that family affairs do work, because here is Kenneth Hansen positioning himself on the grid for the heat.
Kenneth, you just made it?
Yeah, just made it. It was some nervous moments. I think it's more nervous in the paddock than on the circuit.
Well, it's a pretty bit nervous now on the grid as Opel takes the Mitsubishi into the lead. Schanche in second, but suddenly Hansen comes from nowhere and tries to close the door on Schanche. They're going side by side as the crowd cheer them on. Now let's see what that start looked like from Martin Schanche's position. Nothing in view yet, but there they go. Opel and Hansen having a bit of an argy-bargy onto the rough there, and Schanche still fighting for that position into the first corner, but the Mitsubishi just steals the lead on him. And Schanche back in fine form. We didn't miss him in the first two events. Now Hansen's got his work cut out to get past Mr. Rallycross, as he's known after years and years of being #1 in the sport. And the charisma nearly does a flip there off the bank, and Martin Schanche just moves out into front, and that's a bit of a shock for Opel. Hansen still in third place as they go back onto the tarmac, laying down that 650 brake horsepower, accelerating up to their top speed before launching themselves back onto the rough again. Schanche out in front, Hansen now trying to tackle Opel, and as I say that, he goes through. Brilliant driving by Kenneth Hansen, moving through into second place. Schanche, Hansen taking it sideways, trying to keep that speed onto the tarmac. And the charisma has now gone from a brilliant start from Opel, from first through to second, and through down to third, and it's those old rivals, Schanche, leading away, showing a clean pair of brand new Astra heels to Hansen, but Hansen looks very dangerous. Oh, beautiful positioning, and Martin Schanche should have seen that one coming. He stalls and leaves second place to Ivan Opel, and a win for Kenneth Hansen. The final in Division 1 on the left there. Jean-Luc Payet gets a good start. Opel looks as if he's got a good start too. Franzen cutting right across. Is it good enough for second? No. Martin Schanche into third place there. Now he's looking for some sort of result here. Disappointing. And this is what it looks like from Schanche's driving seat. Opel looks wide, doesn't he? Jean-Luc Payet, who went so well in France last time out, looking for a repeat performance in the Citroën. And right now, there's no one anywhere near him. Schanche has moved up into second place, and wow, there's a big problem there for Opel as the charisma goes up into flames. The extinguishers should be cutting in now. Opel still hanging around inside the cockpit, but now he's doing a runner. And there go the extinguishers. And applause for the marshals from the crowd. Jean-Luc Payet probably isn't even aware as he takes the checkered flag and Schanche gets second. And a shake of the head from Opel, better luck next time. Right, the A final, Division 1, Pavel Kutny on pole, Kuipers alongside him. There we can see Eklund and Jean-Luc Payet. Hansen right at the back of the row, he's not used to that sort of position, and Hunsbet waiting, and the crowd cannot contain themselves. This is the big one, and that's what it looks like from the front end. So we're going to be looking for fireworks from Hansen as he's going to try and work his way up through the grid, but live on board with Hunsbet, you can see Eklund already making an impression there. He cuts through, and isn't that incredible? Right from the last place on the grid, the master himself, Kenneth Hansen, goes into the lead. Let's see how that looked. Jean-Luc Payet looking for a place. Per Eklund, the big sandwich there, and that allows Hansen to go through on the inside line. Brilliant driving from Hansen, really taking the advantage. And Eklund into second place. The crowd cannot believe what they've seen. Hunsbet resigned to third position. Kuipers then moving ahead of Kutny. But it's out front. Hansen and Eklund, those two rivals, really pulling away from Hunsbet. And meanwhile, Hunsbet is getting a big, serious challenge from the escort of Kuipers. And is he going to get a little shove as well? Is he going to go through? Yes, he goes through. That's brilliant driving. But it doesn't look so brilliant as far as Hunsbet is concerned, because he can feel someone giving him a little shove from the back. And there are the tail feathers of Kuiper's escort. Well, the battle out in front hasn't reduced in temperature one little bit. Hansen is pulling away a little bit, but Per Eklund looking for an opening, trying to keep his speed up through the corners, but the win goes to Hansen from last place on the grid. Can you believe it?
I mean, to win from the 5th place in the start, that's not normal, but I had a plan that if Per made a good start and come on the outside of Kutny, they could outbrake each other, and that's just what happened. So I just went on the inside, and then it was full throttle all the time, I think.
You were not scared from Eklund?
Yeah, it was some time, because I was pushing quite hard and tried to get a gap, but he was trying very hard also, so he was quite close in some points.
So you'll be happy after the third event?
Definitely.